Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca. Let's talk about makeup. So today I'm filming my penultimate update for the Throwback 30 Project Pan. This is a year-long project pan created by Jessica Lee that started back on July 28th of last year, and it is ending on July 28th of this year. So I have some products to show you that I have met my goals on. We've got some empties to look at and a few other products that I may or may not be able to finish by the time this project wraps up. Jessica originally created this as a Fantastic Ladies collab project, and her idea behind this was to pull prompts from 30 different project pans to allow us to participate in more project pans than is really feasible. We get to revisit some old projects that are no longer running, as well as a few that are still currently ongoing, and in that way we can kind of alleviate some of our FOMO without driving ourselves crazy with a zillion different projects. My baby is napping in her swing right over here. I don't know how long that's going to last, so we'd better get rolling. So first we're going to take a look at the products that I have managed to meet my goals on, and then we'll look at the other ones that I've made some good progress on, but I have not yet completed them. So the first empty that I have to share with you is for the 50 Shades of Purple project pan. For that, I chose my Completely Bare Bikini Bump Blaster. These are just, those little pads that are soaked with a serum. There's witch hazel, there's green tea, there's some salicylic acid in here, and you can apply that to any skin that has been freshly shaven, and that will help prevent any razor burn, any red bumps, or discomfort. This has been in my collection for ages, for so long, and I never really got around to really using it on any consistent basis, so I wasn't sure how well it worked until I rolled into this project and started using it more often and kind of really paying attention to how well it worked. And I actually found this really effective. Because it's been in my collection for so long, I'm not sure if this specific product is still available, but if it is, I am definitely going to be buying another one of them because I did find it super effective, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So this rolled into the project at 82.36 grams, and I used it a total of 24 times in this project. The final weight was 47.06 grams, so that is a total of 35.30 grams used over that 24 uses in this project. Really did enjoy this. Glad I was able to finally finish it and move it out of my collection. My next empty was for the Beauty A to Z project, and for that I just randomized a letter. I got X, and it took me forever to find something in my collection that I felt correlated with that letter in any way. And finally I settled on this little deluxe size of the Cover FX gripping primer. I have used a whole full-sized of this product in the past and completed it. This is a really, really good gripping primer, and I really enjoyed using it this time around as well. However, I do not think I would repurchase this simply because there are so many other really, really good gripping primers on the market now. This was the first one that I remember. This one, I think this predated the Milk gripping primer, but I'm not 100% sure. But back in the day, the Milk one and the Cover FX one were the only two gripping primers that were readily available. And since then, we have been granted a plethora of drugstore options from Hard Candy, which works quite well. e.l.f. has one that I have not tried, but I have heard is really, really effective as well. Yeah, I think there are so many good drugstore options that I don't think a high-end product like this is really necessary. It's a good primer for sure. I just don't think I need to shell out the cash. This came into the project, let's see, at 29.56 grams. I used it a total of 16 times. The final weight was 22.16 grams, so that is a total of 7.4 grams used over 16 uses in this project. Next, we have a usage goal on my MAC Cool Teddy lipstick. This I rolled in for 20 uses, and I managed to use it 29 times. It came into the project at 31.29 grams back in January. It is now at 30.81 grams after 29 uses, so that is a total of 0.48 grams used in this project. Really enjoy this lipstick. It definitely reads more neutral on my lips than it does straight cool. I'm wearing it today, but I have mixed it in with another lipstick that is definitely more on the purple side. So a lot of the coolness you're seeing here is from that other lipstick. So yeah, this one reads definitely more of a neutral than it does a cool on my slightly cool olive undertone, but I think this is a really good option for anybody who finds that most nude lipsticks tend to pull quite warm on them. give this one a try. It's a really nice formula as well. I'm really liking the MAC reformulation. Very, very comfortable and very long wearing for a cream bullet lipstick. My next empty is one that I was really not sure I was going to be able to finish up in the course of this project. I had some doubts. This is my Puking Yule Essence Toner. This is where we started at the beginning of the project, and this is where we were last March. And we are completely done. I had a lot of trouble initially using this simply because I wasn't really in the habit of using a toner in my skincare routine. However, this helped me get in the habit of including that step, and I have actually really enjoyed this. I have several other products that really need to be used up before I can even consider buying another product along these lines, but yeah, I ended up really enjoying this. I must admit, I had my doubts, but we got it done. This is possibly the most exciting empty that I have to share with you. I get so excited when I finish a foundation product, especially this one. This is my Dior Backstage foundation, which for years and years has been my absolute favorite go-to foundation. It is just such a good all-round foundation. It is lightweight, long wearing, not too much coverage, not too little coverage. It's got a nice natural finish on the skin, not super matte, not super glowy. It's just, I don't know. This is the Goldilocks foundation for me. It is just right. And I love the fact that it comes in a bottle with 1.6 fluid ounces, which is significantly more than the typical 1 ounce that you get with most foundations. It took me quite a while to get through this product. But yeah, it is finally finished. I actually went in there. You can see the windowing in there. I went in there with a spatula and scraped out as much as I possibly could because I didn't want to waste any of this product. This is such a good foundation. When it came to the project, I didn't weigh it before I started using it. I used it 12 times before I remembered to weigh it. So after that initial 12 uses, it was weighing at 31.85 grams. I used it a total of 57 times in this project. The final weight of this bottle is 17.59 grams. So that is 14.26 grams used, not including that initial 12 uses. So at least 14.26 grams used up in this project. I'm really quite pleased with that. I'm super pleased to have another foundation complete. As far as a repurchase, I will almost certainly repurchase this at some point in the future because again, this is probably my favorite foundation of all time. However, I have a lot of really good ones in my collection right now that are sufficient for me at the moment where I don't feel the need to run out and replace this one immediately. However, I like it enough that I almost certainly will at some point in the future. Those are all the products that I managed to complete in this project. I have several more to share with you that I've made some progress on, but we're not quite there yet. And we'll talk about whether or not I feel like I'm likely to finish them off. The first one I have to share with you is from the 50 Shades of Green project pan, and this is my Pacifica Tahitian Gardenia perfumed hair and body mist. I have been using this as a linen and room spray since I prefer it more around me than I do on me. It smells really nice. It's just not quite what I look for on my own skin. This is where we started when it first rolled into the project, this little line here, and this is where we are now, down here after, let's see, 81 uses. I have used this 81 times in this project so far. I have used this 32 times since the March update, which was this mark right here, and I am almost certain that I will be able to finish this completely by the end of the project. The next one I have here is for the 7 Deadly Pans. For that one, I chose Wrath, which was something dark red, and for that, I rolled in my little mini of the One Size Go Off Makeup Dissolving Mist. For the last several updates, I kept telling you, I think it's almost done. I think it's almost done. Guys, it is still going. Every single time I reach for this, I expect to not be able to get another use out of it. But it's still hanging in there. I'm wondering under what circumstances I would need to purchase a full size because this one is just, it just keeps going. Now, granted, I do not use this all the time. If you were using this as your first step of makeup removal every single night, I think you'd go through this obviously much faster than I have. This is something that I'm reaching for when I have an unusual amount of makeup on. I'll use it when I'm wearing a lot of glitter or false lashes or anything that I really feel like I need something a little more heavy duty than my micellar water in order to really break down the product. But yeah, I have really enjoyed it for that purpose. It was at 44.7 grams as of my last update back in March. I have used it 24 times since then, and it is now sitting at 33.51 grams. So really good progress. I would like to be able to tell you whether or not I think I'll be able to finish this, but I thought it would be done 3 months ago, and yet here we still are. So it is anybody's guess, to be perfectly honest. I will be taking bets in the comments below whether or not you think I will be I will actually be able to make it through this can of product, because it just keeps surprising me. Next, for budget beauty, I've rolled in my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I don't find that this does amazing things for my pores, at least not once I put foundation on over top of it. However, it is a little bit hydrating without being too much for my combo oily skin. So I like to apply this to the areas of my face that do tend to be a little bit drier and have a little bit more texture. And I have found that this has been useful for helping my base products lay a little bit more nicely on those areas. So I'll see if I can put up a screen cap of what it was looking like when I first rolled it in. We've actually managed to use quite a lot of product, but as you can tell, there's still quite a lot left, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get through this by the end of the project. I'm still very, very pleased at the progress I've been able to make. As of the March update, this was weighing in at 40 grams even. I have used it 27 times since that update, and it is currently at 35.58 grams. I am going to continue to use this because I am finding it quite useful, but that's a lot of product to get through in a month. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, that's still a lot of progress, and I'm pleased with it. Here's another one that's really anybody's guess, and this one was for the Color Pan project. I rolled in, this will be very familiar to you if you have been watching my videos for any length of time. This is the ColourPop Super Shock blush in the shade Drop of a Hat. This is my favorite blush of all time. I worked on it all last year trying to complete it and was not able to do so. We're so close, you guys. We are so close. I just have a tiny bit of product around the edges, but I really don't need a lot for each use. And so I don't know. I don't know if this is something I can get through in a month's time. I was sure I was going to be able to get it done by the end of last year, and yet here we are. As of my last update back in March, it was at 24.25 grams. I have used this 43 times since then, and it is now at, 23.66 grams. I know the trend in cosmetics right now is toward very, very pigmented blushes, which can be wonderful for someone with a very deep skin tone that struggles to get color cosmetics to show up on their skin. However, I personally don't love it when I have to be super, super careful with a blush to avoid going overboard. While I do find this super pigmented, I find the formula and the level of pigmentation to be beautifully balanced so that I don't have to go in and layer and layer and layer in order to get the depth of color that I'm looking for, but it isn't something that I have to be super careful with. I love this blush. I love the formulation. I love the level of luminosity it has. It's this beautiful corally pinky blush with a golden sheen to it. It's just so beautiful and flattering. And I am shocked at how long it has taken me to get this far in it. So for this product, I really couldn't tell you. Kind of like the one size, it's anyone's guess whether or not I'll be able to finish it by the end of the project. Again, I will be taking bets in the comments below. The last product I have to talk about here is for my 50 Shades of Pink, and for that I rolled in my Pixie Correction Concentrate in the shade Brightening Peach. When I first rolled this in, believe it or not, there was a little bit of pan at the bottom of the pot, and that is because I had been using a brush, but I started using a finger with this, and I kind of pushed a lot of product from the sides of the jar down to the bottom. So now we are nowhere near pan. Obviously a lot of product still left in here. There is no chance of me completing this by the end of July, but this is a great product, and I actually have really enjoyed incorporating this into my makeup routine over the last several months. As of the March update, I had used it 19 times and it was at 33.09 grams. I have used it an additional 37 times since the March update, and it is currently sitting at 32.85 grams. So I'm going to continue to use this, especially since I had my baby. This has been super helpful. Usually I don't feel like my dark circles are dark enough to need to go in with color correction, but since I had my baby and I have been getting so little sleep, I have found this a little bit more useful. And so yeah, I've gotten a lot of use out of it. We'll probably continue to use it, but the chances of me completing this by the end of the project are zero. So that is pretty much it. I will see you next month for the finale of this project, and we will see how well I was able to do, what my completion percentage is. Obviously, I'm not going to be hitting 100% completion That has been kind of the running theme with all of my projects that have been wrapping up. It's not in the cards for me with any of these projects. That said, I have been very ambitious with a lot of my goals, and so far I have been really pleased with the number of products I have been able to complete and move out of my collection. So thank you for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!